So let me ask you something. What if all the things you're chasing, the better job title, the bigger paycheck, what if they're actually distracting you from a truly happy life? Well, today we're digging into that exact question using a framework from the legendary Harvard professor Clayton Christensen. It comes from his book, How Will You Measure Your Life? And trust me, it's a powerful guide for building a life of genuine fulfillment, not just a successful career. So, where did this all come from? Well, the whole idea started when Christensen went to his Harvard Business School reunion. Now, on the surface, his classmates looked like they had it all. I mean, we're talking titans of industry, CEOs, partners, just wildly successful people. But behind the scenes, it was a totally different story. A shocking number of them were deeply, deeply unhappy. Their careers were absolutely soaring, but their personal lives were just in ruins. And this led him to a question that really, really makes you stop and think. How is it possible that some of the smartest, most driven people on the entire planet, people who got everything they ever wanted professionally, end up so miserable? It doesn't add up, right? To try and solve this puzzle, Christensen didn't just give out simple answers. No, instead, he did something brilliant. He applied the same rigorous business theories he taught at Harvard to life itself. And what he came up with was this powerful tool for thinking, all built around three core questions that we all have to ask ourselves. He called them the three pillars of a fulfilling life. First up, your career. Second, your relationships. And third, your integrity. A truly happy life needs all three of these to be strong. For today's explainer, we're really going to focus on how his business thinking gives us this incredible lens for that first, and let's be honest, often most complicated pillar, finding real satisfaction in your career. Okay, so let's dive right into this first pillar, your career. This is where Christensen introduces this absolutely brilliant business theory that explains a trap that so many of us fall into, and we don't even realize it's happening. It's called the two-factor theory, and honestly, it's a game changer. So look here, on the left, you've got what he calls hygiene factors. Think of these as the basics, right? A decent salary, job security. If you don't have them, yeah, you're going to be miserable. But here's the twist, getting more of them doesn't actually make you happy. It just makes you not unhappy. The real deep job satisfaction, that comes from the motivators over on the right. Things like challenging work, feeling like you're actually growing, and getting recognized for what you do. That's the stuff that actually makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. And this is the trap right here. This is what so many of us do. We spend our entire lives chasing the things on the left, the bigger salary, the corner office, thinking that's the path to happiness. But Christensen's point is that those hygiene factors can only ever get you to zero, just to a state of neutrality. Yeah, they stop you from hating your job, but they can never ever make you love it. True fulfillment, that only comes from the motivators. Okay, so knowing what motivates you is definitely step one. But step two is all about understanding that the path to finding that motivation is almost never a straight line. And this brings us to this idea of your life's strategy. Now, to explain this, Christensen tells this fantastic story about Honda when they first tried to enter the US market. Their initial plan, what he calls their deliberate strategy, was crystal clear. They were going to take on the big guys, like Harley-Davidson, with their own large, powerful motorcycles. And you know what happened? It failed. Spectacularly. I mean, it was a total disaster. Their bikes couldn't handle American highways. They kept breaking down, and sales were just awful. The company was literally on the verge of going bankrupt. Their deliberate strategy was a complete and total dead end. But then something completely unexpected happened. While their big, important plan was failing, the Honda employees were just zipping around Los Angeles on their tiny little Super Cub scooters to run errands. And locals started seeing them, and they got curious. And they started asking, hey, where can I buy one of those? Now, this was never, ever part of the plan. It was a totally accidental opportunity. In business theory, this is called an emergent strategy. And for Honda, it changed absolutely everything. So Honda pivoted. They completely embraced this emergent strategy, and that little Super Cub went on to become one of the best-selling motor vehicles in history. The lesson for all of us here is pretty profound. You have to have a plan for your life, of course, but you also have to keep your eyes open for those unexpected opportunities that just pop up. Your true path is almost always a blend of the two. So, you've got a plan, and you're open to new opportunities, but none of that matters without this final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the single most important concept in the whole book. How do you actually turn your strategy into reality? So, here's the crucial point, and it's a tough one. You can have the best intentions in the world. You can say your family is the most important thing, or your health, or some passion project. But your real strategy, the one you're actually living out, is revealed by where you invest your most precious resources, your time, your energy, and your money. Just think about Apple back in the 90s, before Steve Jobs came back. The company wasn't lacking for smart people or good ideas. Actually, it had way too many. Its resources were spread so thin across dozens and dozens of different projects. And as a result, the company was just 90 days away from going bankrupt. So when Jobs came back, what was the very first thing he did? He didn't just walk in and give a motivational speech, no. He ruthlessly reallocated the company's resources. He killed off dozens of products to focus all of Apple's time, all of its money, and all of its talent on just 4. He aligned the company's resources with his strategy, and that single act changed everything.
And this brings it all right back home to us. Let's forget business for a second. If this chart represented your life, what would the slices look like? We all say our family is our top priority, or that we really value personal growth. But if we're being completely honest with ourselves, does our resource allocation, our actual strategy, tell a very different story?
And that leaves us with the final and most challenging question from Christensen's framework. Forget what you intend to do or what you hope you value. If you look at the cold, hard data of your calendar and your bank statement, what do they reveal about the life you're actually building, day by day, minute by minute? Because that is how you will truly measure your life.